scores as well as safe shots on goal for some of these goalies. Give me both teams to score in the first period. That's coming in at plus 185 compared to the over 1.5 that is at minus 120. Okay, you guys ready? Let's make some freaking money. It's time for Pocket with Jo. Happy Monday, everyone. Jo here at SportsGrid over on SportsGrid TV. It's time for Pocket with Jo. We've got a tiny slate today, one game on deck, but a game that should have some fireworks out there as the Tampa Bay Lightning take on the Toronto Maple Leafs. Both of these teams have fantastic fan bases. Both of these teams have been struggling on the power play as of this point in the season, only converting at 12.5% of the time. And I do think there's an opportunity for them to step up in this one. So let's jump right into it. Let's start looking at these lines. Don't worry, you guys, we got a loaded slate tomorrow. Every team is playing. So that means it's the first night of a back-to-back for these teams as well. We'll look at who they're playing tomorrow, but this is a game. This is a game these teams have circled because this is a battle of the Atlantic. They cannot look past each other. So current odds, all odds on the show are provided on FanDuel, you guys. The Tampa Bay Lightning are the dog on the road, which provides so much value at plus 120. The Toronto Maple Leafs are coming in at minus 144. You know, Toronto at home is a place you're always going to have to lay juice. We have that total sitting at 6.5. Now, the 6.5 is a pick'em on either side, minus 110 either way. There's no way I'm taking this game to the under between these two, even though we look at the goaltending and we look at their ability to get those blocked shots, stop the puck from going in the back of their net. I just can't take this one to the under. I do think this one could finish in overtime. I'm going to sprinkle on an overtime bet here. These offenses are absolutely fire out there on the ice. When we look at Andrei Vasilevskiy, his numbers are not as solid as we've seen him to start in prior seasons, but I am expecting him to get back into form here. But I think in this one, with the amount of shots that the Toronto Maple Leafs are putting on goal, they're averaging exactly 32.8 shots on goal per game so far on the season. And who's getting the majority of those shots? Austin Matthews, you know that. So we're going to have some plays on Austin Matthews here. We're going to look at this game to go over the 6.5. And yes, Stolarz has been absolutely fantastic out here for the Toronto Maple Leafs, but I think he's in for some regression, especially in this game. We look at the Tampa Bay Lightning, they're averaging 4 goals per game on only 26 shots on net. Again, both of these power plays will step up in this game. You have both of them converting at only 12.5%. If I look at which team has struggled the most on the kill, the Lightning have only killed 73.3% of their opponent's power plays, while we look at Toronto, they have done a better job in that regards, killing 85% of them. Both of these teams spend 8-9 minutes in the box. So I'm going to look at this first period to be the period where we see, a 3-2 style start to this game. I really do think it's coming. You guys are going to take the over 1.5. It's juicy though, minus 140. You can alt that to over 2.5 goals. I really do think one of these teams 2-1. 3-2 style first period we are in for in this one. Both teams to score, though, coming in at plus 154. I do like that. I like the plus money that we're getting on it. Now, when we look here at the Tampa Bay Lightning, they've won the last 2 meetings over the Toronto Maple Leafs. But when we look back further, the 4 prior, Toronto had dominated out there. The Lightning are a strong team right now for able to capitalize on their opponents' errors out there on the ice. So this team will get those turnovers. They'll take the puck away and get more opportunities to shoot on Stolarz. I'm looking at the goaltending, and even though Stolarz is coming out with better numbers with a 1.79 goals against average and a 937 save percentage, I look here at him, and I think that regression will come. I trust Andrei Vasilevskiy a heck of a lot more. And you look at these lineups, and yes, Steven Stamkos has left the Tampa Bay Lightning, but this team is phenomenally strong. The power play points, I think, are coming in this one. So you're looking at that top line, Jake Gunsel, Brandon Point, Nikita Kucherov. Nikita Kucherov has picked up exactly where he left off last season. He's flying out there on the ice. He's already got 7 goals and 9 assists. Nikita Kucherov for the anytime goal coming in at plus 130 tonight. Now, you can look at him for the first period goal. I think it's worth a sprinkle at plus 550. When I'm looking at the other side of the ice, Auston Matthews has been fire versus the Lightning in his career. He's able to get those shots always on them. And we look at him to start the season. He is leading the league on shots on goal so far this season, 28 shots over the first 5 games. And when we break his numbers down further, 21 shots have come in 3 games at home. Tonight, though, his number is so high. The books aren't dumb, you guys. You got to take him for 5+ shots on goal, coming in at minus 113. The last time he faced the Tampa Bay Lightning, he was able to get 7 shots on them. I don't want to take the 5+ shots on goal at minus 113. I don't want to lay juice on that. If I was getting plus money, if I was getting, plus 120 on the 5+ shots on goal, that's where I would hit it. There's just not enough value here, especially when those shots on goal, you guys know we've sat and we've watched these games, and some of those shots just aren't counted as true shots on goal when it feels like it should be. So I'll stay off the shots on goal prop, but I do think those shots definitely are coming tonight. I would look at Auston Matthews for the anytime goal at minus 125. It's juicy. The first period goal we've already cashed with him on the season. That first goal he was able to get did come in the first period, and we got great value. Tonight it's coming in at plus 400. I believe the last time we had on it was plus 450. So the books are taking down the value on that, but I still think Auston Matthews, Nikita Kucherov, those are your first period goal scorers. I would look at the points out here as well for these players. Now, Auston Matthews, we know on that top line with Mitch Marner and Neves, I think all 3 of them can get the points tonight. I'm just going to look at those points here and see what they will give us in this one. So far, I will take the over 6.5. I will take the first period over 1.5 and both teams to score. Looking at these points, and actually we have an overtime bet tonight of plus 370. I'm going to go there with it. Now the goalie props have been released. Stollar's total save shots on goal, that number is coming in at 26.5 at minus 108 to the over, minus 110 to the under. When we look at the Toronto Maple Leafs, are averaging, the Tampa Bay Lightning, they are averaging 26 shots on goal per game, and we have Toronto allowing 27.2. If I was to take Stolarz, and I don't love this bet, I would take him under the 26.5 and minus 124. I do think the shots are coming out of the Lightning, but this is a team that is sitting right on that number. And I think their high danger shots will come over their firing power and their amount of shots coming in this game. So I would stay off Stolarz. Let's see. There's nothing yet for Andrei Vasilevskiy. With the Tampa Bay Lightning playing the New Jersey Devils tomorrow, I wouldn't think they'd save Vasilevskiy because that's a Metro opponent today, is the Atlantic divisional rivalry with Toronto. So I don't expect them to save him. I'm not sure why he's not confirmed. We do have Stolarz confirmed, but I would look for the shutout. But that's one thing not the shutout, the overtime bet in this one. It's one thing to watch. If for some reason they don't start Andrei Vasilevskiy, gives us even more reason for that over 6.5 for the first period over 1.5. It's not going to change what I'm thinking here, but it will be interesting to see what the Lightning do. So if we're looking at some player points in this one, you guys, everyone for 1+ point is way too highly juiced unless you're throwing it into a parlay. You're looking at Nikita Kucherov, it's over 400, Auston Matthews over 300, Mitch Marner over 2, and the list goes down. I do think Kucherov, Matthews, Marner, Braden Point, and Gunsel all are in for a point tonight. William Nylander probably as well. So that's 5 players. If you parlay all of them on FanDuel right now, all those 5 players for a point, it's coming in at plus 343. Now, instead of doing that, it's a lot of players to look at those points, but in a high-scoring game where all of these players are on top lines, top power plays, I do think it's coming. Nikita Kucherov, though, if you take him for 2+ points tonight, you guys know I like him for the goal. I like him for the goal in the first period. That's what I was stumping on. I do think 2+ points as well, but that's plus 114. You're putting a lot of weight if you're betting all of those on these players. So you could look at the points or look at the goals. I wouldn't do all of them. I do think Jake Gunsel needs to step up here for the Lightning and be more impactful in this game. So his 2+ points is plus 220. And then we know Austin Matthews at home, he has to get really going in this matchup, especially when we look at his ability to get those shots, his ability to get those shots on the Lightning. I could see those 2+ points coming in for him at plus 162. Now, I wanted to see if we're getting power play points in this one, if those lines have been released yet. Okay, so the power play points. Nikita Kucherov, no value at plus 100. I wouldn't hit on it. Braden Point, not enough value at plus 165. I do think the power play points could come for them. Again, both of these teams only converting at 12.5% of the time. I think that changes in this game. Austin Matthews for the power play point at plus 185. There is value in that. I think Austin Matthews at home, it's a really strong look. Now, if we go further down the list, Victor Hedman, a defenseman here for the Tampa Bay Lightning. I do think he could get that assist on the power play. He's coming in at plus 180. So I would look at him for the power play point. And then further down, Morgan Riley here of the Toronto Maple Leafs. He's coming in at plus 370. You guys know I love that plus money. And that's what I'm always looking for when I'm betting these player props is the plus money. Because, you know, we could get Braden Point at plus 165. We could get Nikita Kucherov. But if we can get Morgan Riley or Victor Hedman, and we're getting so much more value on them, I would rather look there. So when we talk about who I think is going to win this game, you guys, again, it's plus 120 here for the Tampa Bay Lightning, minus 144 for the Toronto Maple Leafs. I do think this is a live betting opportunity for this game when the one opponent goes down. If you like Toronto, if the Lightning come out first in that first period, striking first, you're going to get better value on the Toronto Maple Leafs. So I would bet it that way. I wouldn't take Toronto right now at minus 144. I like the Tampa Bay Lightning. I think the Tampa Bay Lightning can get it done at plus 120. If Toronto comes out and scores first, because I do think high scoring first period, I'm coming back in on the Tampa Bay Lightning. I do think they have the goaltending edge in this battle, and I like what they bring to the table. I love their top lines and all of these players. And Toronto, they kind of let me down in situations, and I don't think they deserve to be a minus 144 favorite going into this game. So that is where I'm going, you guys. We have a double header out there in football today, so stay tuned to the SportsGrid app for my Madden Quickie. I faded the Steelers last night because of Russ, and yeah, I had to eat my words in that one. So let's have a monster day. I'm ready for it too. First period goals at Braden Point is a play on. Yeah, Braden Point, he's phenomenally strong out there. I like those props for him. Marner for the power play point at plus 160. It's a nice way to go as well. DraftKings has Vasilevsky at 28.5 safe shots on goal. That I would take to the over. We look here at the Toronto Maple Leafs. They have strong numbers. They're fourth overall in the league for getting those shots at 32.8. And I know the Lightning have really limited opponents, holding them to 25.3, but I think that number is in for some regression as well. There's a couple of teams that I don't like to take their defense to have regression, one of them being the Carolina Hurricanes, the other one being the Winnipeg Jets. But the Tampa Bay Lightning are not one of those teams. I do think the shots can come out of the Toronto Maple Leafs. So look ahead spot for Toronto, not really there. Columbus on deck on the road tomorrow. The New Jersey Devils are on deck tomorrow for the Tampa Bay Lightning. So both of these teams on the road tomorrow. Toronto, actually, it's interesting because they're on the road tomorrow. Then they're home versus the St. Louis Blues on Thursday. And when I looked at the rest of their schedule, I think Thursday could be a letdown spot for Toronto, just because we look at their opponents after the St. Louis Blues, and St. Louis is so strong defensively. I think they're going to have success shutting down these top lines here of the Toronto Maple Leafs, especially with Toronto off this game and then playing the Columbus Blue Jackets, which I think they'll be able to get the win. So I'm looking at a letdown spot for Toronto, long story short, on Thursday because of their scheduling over the weekend. But you guys, thanks so much for joining me here. Let's make some freaking money out there on the ice. Marner for the power play points is where your money is going. I absolutely love it. Both teams to score. Let's hit that money, you guys. We made some yesterday. Ross Colden, you guys bring up Ross Colden. He is an absolute moneymaker for us out there. There is no way that I am betting a game and not putting money on Ross Colden when he plays out there for the Avs. You guys, all the best. Let's make some money. Full slate tomorrow. Every single team in action tomorrow. Will be a long show. I'll talk to you then.